A lot of people ask me how the Italian Center came to be. Well, here's the story. My dad was immigrated to Canada in the 1950s. He was sent up to the Yukon mine to work in a silver mine. He there broke his back and ended up in the Charles Camsell Hospital here in Edmonton. He spent the next year and a half in traction. My dad was a very, very big man and very big in stature too, so people would just naturally go to him for advice and help. And even today, I think that we're very successful because of my dad's generosity. He's the best example I know of the more you give, the more you get. He helped people, helped them find a job. He helped them learn English. He did their taxes for them. He taught them how to drive. He would even drive them to and from Safeway. He did whatever he could to help other people without asking anything in return. Then people started saying to him, you know, it would be really great if we knew it was happening in our hometowns, because in Italy, they hadn't heard any news. They didn't have TVs or radios. They didn't understand English very well. So my dad started bringing in Italian newspapers. And even though the newspapers were 3 or 4 months old, people were so happy to hear about what was happening in their home country and reading it in their native tongue. Then they said, this is so awesome, so great, but you know what we really need in Edmonton is a good espresso. We have no coffee. So my dad started bringing in coffee. And then they said, this is great, we've got the paper, we've got our coffee, but you know, there's no good olive oil. And then there's no pasta, and so on and so on and so on. Till today we have over 10,000 items from Italy. My father first opened his stores on 97th Street and 106th Avenue. It was very, very small, the size of a bathroom, I would say. And that's where he started bringing in the newspapers and the coffee. And then as he grew and the demand got bigger, he moved here to 95th Street. And he really listened to what his customers wanted. Whatever they wanted, he tried to get for them. And then he started to educate Canadians. He taught them that Parmesan cheese does not come in a green shaker. It comes in a really big wheel, and it's like 300 kilos, and they've got to cut up in pieces and grate it and so on and so on. And as people start to taste the real thing, they start to like it. And as people became more educated about good food and where good food comes from and what to look for, they started shopping at our store. He really wanted to create a center for Italians to come and talk. And he did that. He had the first coffee shop, Bar Italia, and he was the first person in Edmonton to make lattes. We're only a couple of blocks from our church, so this became really a gathering center for our community. And thus, that's how Little Italy started. And our customers always told us they would wish we had a store on the south side. And so luckily, we found the perfect location for the store on the south side. And we opened it, and thankfully we have a really great customer base, and it's been a really good thing for us, and I think the city. We hired a fabulous baker, Angelo Antonucci, and he started doing wedding cakes, christening cakes, communion cakes, and lots of pastries, the old style, everything from scratch. And Angelo has a great passion for what he does. So we've got a large bakery there. And then we started making bread, so that would supply both our stores. So all our bread is made fresh at our south side store at 2:30 in the morning, and then delivered fresh to this store on the north side at 9 o'clock. My father not only opened the grocery store here in Little Italy, but he also started to educate people about really good food and where it comes from. He was also very much involved with the community, not just our Italian community, but our Polish community, our Yugoslavian community, and the city of Edmonton. He was very, very passionate about the city of Edmonton. Although he always loved Italy and always spoke highly of his home country, he knew that Canada was his home. So he always tried to add value to Canadians when they came shopping at our store and give them a real European feeling. When he passed away, the city of Edmonton wanted to do something to honor him. We came up with this idea of making a statue. We made it lifelike, so even if you come out to Giovanni Caboto Park and see his statue, it looks like his hands are caricatures because they're so big. But really, those were his actual hands. He was a very, very big man. He loved children and he loved people. So he thought an interactive statue so kids can play with him and climb on him and other people could sit around him would be perfect. And that's what we've done.